Last year at Christmas, my family and I watched the Taylor Swift concert movie actually on Christmas Day. So my in-laws got COVID last minute and we didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh, there's movies on Christmas. And we saw the Taylor Swift movie was playing. So we watched it. I mean, I know Taylor Swift a little bit. I hear the songs on the radio. I played her songs in cover bands. I have an 11-year-old daughter who likes her. And I was like, yeah, let's see this. I didn't know anything about the Eras Tour. I didn't know it was like all her stuff from like all these years. It was pretty awesome. And I was surprised to hear like that wide range of music. I guess I hear this stuff on the radio, but like I've never listened to Taylor Swift for 3 hours one time at once. And after seeing it, I've actually been wondering for a while, like, what, as big as she is, like, what are other bands people should listen to? I always try to get my daughter, especially, into other songs and other music and other stuff. Well, I even got this dad cup. Outside of Taylor Swift that I like, that I think is awesome. She never wants to listen to it, but anybody else on this YouTube wants to listen to my wisdom, here are 5 other artists, 5 other bands, 5 you should listen to. You should try if you like Taylor Swift. And I'll give you the reasons why. The first one's Pat Benatar. So Pat Benatar is a singer from the late 70s, early 80s is when most of her hits were. Maybe had a couple hits in the 90s. Still around, but rock and roll kind of music. But what makes Pat Benatar unique is it's not just a female singer who's rocking kind of like Taylor Swift, you know, the female singer thing. But all these songs Taylor Swift has are about boyfriends and all the people she loved. So Pat Benatar married her guitar player in her band, like after their first album or like right when they were becoming big. And I'm pretty sure the music industry told her not to, and it was a horrible idea. And they've been married this whole time since in the early 80s. They've had a couple kids. They've always played together. Now when you see billboards for them playing live, it says Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Like nobody knows who, unless like you're a musician, nobody knows who he is. But like his name is featured now. He's a good musician on his own right. I mean, he played on a bunch of famous songs. I think he played for like Rick Springfield, like Jesse's Girl Dude, maybe, and some other people. I could be wrong on that. But he did play for a bunch of famous other people. He was a session musician as well. So she married her guitar player. She loved him. She didn't care what people said. I bet a bunch of her love songs are probably about him. That sounds very Taylor Swift-like to me. Imagine Taylor Swift meets like an Ed Sheeran or a Shawn Mendes kind of dude, like early before they're famous, and then she marries them and they stay in the band forever and have kids. I think that's kind of what Pat Benatar did with this dude. So Pat Benatar, #1 to check out if you're into Taylor Swift. The second band to check out if you're into Taylor Swift, I would say Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard. Awesome 80s hair metal. That's what you're going to think when you hear that. But I bet a bunch of you don't know that Taylor Swift did a thing called Crossroads on CMT, country music. It's like BET, but CMT. It's like the country music version of that, of MTV or something. You know, it's its own country music channel. And they used to do this show called Crossroads. I say it's CMT. It may have even been VH1 now that I say all that. It doesn't really matter. Okay? Point is, it was a show where they took a country artist, okay, and they took a rock artist, and they had them play together. And they had the bands get together and play, and they would do some of the country songs, some of the rock songs, and they would have them do them together, like 2 different bands. And Taylor Swift did it with Def Leppard, and it was amazing. She was pretty young. She wore like this gold dress thing that's pretty awesome. I mean, she was known for like all these dress changes and stuff. She wore, I remember this like awesome looking gold dress, and she sang a whole bunch of 80s hair metal songs that are awesome. I mean, Taylor Swift is like the pop queen right now, and I mean, I got to argue that Def Leppard is one of the best pop bands of the 80s. I mean, they were hair metal, yeah, but like those songs were rocking. They were produced amazingly. They did a lot of things people didn't do before when they recorded, and they're powerhouses, and she's a powerhouse, and she liked them. They did Crossroads together. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty obvious one. Obviously, they don't sound anything like each other, but Taylor Swift was influenced by them in somehow. Or she wouldn't have done that Crossroads, I wouldn't think. So check out Def Leppard. Amazing band. I love Def Leppard. They're one of my top 10 favorite bands. And obviously she likes them too. So you should check them out. Band number 3, Halestorm. This is a more modern kind of rock metal band. A little aggressive, more edgy, maybe for the older Taylor Swift fans. Some of the songs are a little provocative. But okay, now take what I said about Pat Benatar, but like, let's make that like, you know, a 90s kid or something. I don't know when she was born, you know, but probably 90s is when Lizzie Hale is her name. Lizzie Hale. I think she spells it Lzzy. I think that she doesn't have her husband or boyfriend in the band. I think it's actually like her brothers or her cousin. I think there's some family member in the band or family members. But she is modern, rockin', heavy chick. She sings, she plays guitar. She's I don't want to say she's the Taylor Swift of metal, but like, yeah, maybe. I mean, that's who I think of when I think of like who's a metal chick. There's lots of other metal chicks. There's the Spirit Box band, I think is their name, that has a chick sing. Maybe it's not Spirit Box, but there's this chick that's really heavy in a heavy band that sings. This is probably not accessible. This is like radio heavy. This isn't like, metal heavy. This is radio heavy, pop friendly-ish songs. So again, some of the songs are a little provocative, but Lizzie Hale, a front chick, a rocker. Yeah, if you're into heavier Taylor Swift, or you want to get something a little more aggressive, if she's getting a little too girly for you, check out Halestorm. Awesome band. Think they're from Pennsylvania, if I remember correctly. Modern, rockin', metal. Check them out. Number 4. So, when I see Taylor Swift on that concert thing, she's playing the piano and some different stuff. And there's a band that I think is pretty awesome that isn't huge, that plays piano, and I think is kind of like sometimes poppy, kind of jazzy, kind of big bang bandy. They're not country, but they're called Five for Fighting. And I don't know, when I hear Taylor Swift play piano and stuff, it makes me think of the guy up there from Five for Fighting. Think of like a Ben Folds 5 if you know them at all, but a little more rockin'. They had that hit Superman. I think it's actually called It's Not Easy. Superman in parentheses maybe. Like, I'm not scared to fly. Like, that's them. But if you listen to some of their other stuff that isn't on the radio, like I think it's their first album, they have a song called Bella's Birthday Bash. That song is amazing. That's such an awesome song. That's what you want to go listen to. Go search Bella's Birthday Bash by Five for Fighting. If you like that, you might like it. Again, very different vibe, but there's the piano, just her playing the piano and her being a singer-songwriter. I don't know. It gives me this Five for Fighting vibe where if you're maybe into something a little bit more indie, I guess, sounding, that's kind of, rocking, but you like the piano vibe and some of the instruments and stuff, you might check out Five for Fighting. Again, it doesn't sound like Taylor Swift, but the piano, her playing that piano, I don't know. Makes me think of those guys. And then the last one I'm going to say is number 5. Super emotional Taylor Swift, right? Always crying about the boyfriends that got away or didn't love her or whatever. So we need an emo band, right? She is the queen of emo, if you really have to say it. So I'm going to go with Dashboard Confessional here. If you're not familiar with Dashboard Confessional, I mean, they put the emo in emo, if you know what I mean. Their songs are very interesting lyrically. They really choose their words right. They probably get a goddamn thesaurus out when they write these songs. I bet I wouldn't be surprised. Taylor Swift also has some pretty interesting lyrics and, smart choices of words. So from a lyrical standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from a, oh my gosh, everything is bad and I'm upset, nothing's going right. When Taylor Swift has those songs, Dashboard Confessional, okay? On top of that, if you're a chick and you like Taylor Swift, the guy from Dashboard Confessional is a beautiful, beautiful man. Beautiful man. He did get, unfortunately, into a motorcycle accident recently. I hope his hair did not go everywhere when he crashed. That's mean. I shouldn't say that. He's okay. I looked. He was okay. But that's what I would check out. The guy from Dashboard Confessional, Chris Carrabba, I'm pretty sure his name is. He plays in other bands too. I think there's a band called Further Seems Further, maybe is his. I don't really know a lot of his stuff on his own. He goes out. I mean, Dashboard Confessional is kind of him. So I'm pretty sure, like, when he goes out and he does his own thing, it's just him. I saw Dashboard Confessional one time live. I took my wife, and I thought it was like a band, and it was just him playing acoustic guitar. And I was maybe the only guy there, and it was very strange. But they loved it. He sounds awesome. And I'm pretty sure actually on this whole list, if you had to listen to two side by side, they don't sound similar. But if you wanted to hear the closest thing musically, maybe to Taylor Swift in this list, it might be Dashboard Confessional. But there you go. 5 bands. Again, these aren't like Sabrina Carpenter and Lady Gaga. These are, 5 bands you may not have heard of or may not know And if you're into Taylor Swift, maybe check some of these bands out. It's just something different. Each of them has a little bit of a vibe of something that's in the Taylor Swift, maybe. And hope you like it.